Hello, everyone. This is m-f-kreps, a.k.a. Margaret Felicia Kreps. I am the author of My Intimate Journey with Caesar, Caesar being my fabulous haircut, and trust, it is more than just a haircut. I am on JRLive Live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, JRLive, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
PositivePower21.org, Internet Radio.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to PositivePower21.org. I am the voice of JRLive, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power. Today's sponsors are Queen Z Production, gospel stage play called Taking It Back. That's right. Zenobia Sampson is bringing back Taking It Back to Baltimore for a second showing. She will give us the date pretty soon. And also, she's going to be taping a DVD. So we all excited about that for her. And Facebook really turned out that night, and she's getting all kinds of inboxes to bring the play back to Baltimore. And that is all right. Way to go, Baltimore Facebook. Okay. Also, Rightful Power. Uncover, heal, and confidently step into your victorious life. 5-week telecourse with Lane Cobb, holistic coach, empowerment speaker, and author. It starts August 18th. Do you have a story, but you don't know how to get it out? Are you a woman who wants more out of life, longing to express your authentic voice, or wanting to make your mark in the world? Are the stories about your past stopping you from living the life you really, really want? If you can answer yes to any of the above, join me on this 6-week transformational journey to rightful power and reclaim your victorious life. That's right. And now is the time to gain victory over your past, create a deeper awareness of who you are, what you want, and how to get it. Discover your unique purpose and ignite your inner passion. Turn trials into triumphs and pain into power. Deepen your divine connection to access enlightenment and grace. And again, that is lanecobb.com. And also you can reach her by phone at 443-756-8391. Again, that is 443-756-8391. Again, that is a teleconference. So call her or email her from her website, www.lanecobb.com. All right, cool. Also, don't forget about our people on the Cambridge. You're looking for a nice tour, a nice trip to Burlington Shore. Contact REI Heritage Tours at the museum in Cambridge, Maryland, which is home of Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. That's 1-800-522-TOUR. 1-800-522-TOUR to book your scenic driving tour with more than 30 sites related to Harriet Tubman and the freedom seekers of the 1800s. And again, that's 1-800-522-TOUR. Have you decided? Well, have you ever received good advice that you weren't able to follow? Has your doctor ever recommended a lifestyle change that you found to be unsustainable? Have you ever wanted something in your life but found you couldn't achieve it alone? Contact PurpleRoseHolisticHealth.com. They will personalize a program that will radically improve your health and happiness. Contact Valerie Moore for a free initial consultation at PurpleRoseHolisticHealth.com. All right. And we want to thank all our guests that we had last week. Hazel Cartwright Slice, Larry Moon Jr., Cheryl Pulliams, Frank Brown Jr., Jamil Mathis or Cynthia Blue, Helen McMillan, and Kelvon Rett. And also we want to special thanks to Purple Barbie and Ramon Marquise from Miami. They guest starred on an episode of He Said, She Said on Friday night, which is adult and relationship talk. We had a great time, so check that out. That's out there on Spreaker.com/PositivePower21. All right. And always we want to thank Bunny DeBarge for helping us out. and helping us push the show to all sorts of limits. And she's releasing the 2 books in the fall of 2014, the Kept Ones, Volume 1 and 2. And again, this is a definitive story of the DeBarge family captured in 2 volumes. All right, so that's coming out soon, and we hope to get her back on the show to talk more about the 2nd volume. All right, we got a special guest opening up for JRLive Live and Positive Power. A brief bio. Margaret Felicia Kreps is a 40-year-old single mom from Newark, New Jersey. She loved to represent, 10112, even though she lived many other places. She has 2 children. They are ages 23 and 7. Wow, what a gap. Margaret was educated in, Weequahic High School, and then went on to acquire her associates in applied science and radiography at Essex County College. After working several years as an Xray Technologist, she returned to the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey Nuclear Medicine Technology program, and ultimately Margaret finished her Bachelor of Science in Applied Health Technologies. With many changes in the healthcare building, coupled with the oversaturation of nuclear medicine technology as well as the overall recession, Margaret decided to reinvent herself. After a hard decision to leave New Jersey, Margaret enrolled as a full-time nursing student at Interamericana University of Puerto Rico in 2013, August. Even though my intimate journey with Caesar was conceived while Margaret was still in New Jersey, she was not able to fully give birth until after she moved to Puerto Rico. Margaret does not know what the good Lord has in store for her future, but she is confident and ready to take the journey humbly. And that's Margaret Felicia Kreps. Welcome to the show, JRLive Live. How you doing, Margaret?
Thank you very much, and I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, awesome. I heard a new word today. Somebody said, what's that new word they said? It wasn't excellent. Man, I forgot the word. Man. But anyway, I'm doing awesome, so I'm going to stay with that. So we're so happy to have you on the show tonight. You're going to talk about your journey. So we're going to open up the show about you, and we'll talk about your book in the second part of the show. So tell us a little bit more about you, anything that's not in your bio that you think your fans or the listening audience will enjoy to hear. Okay? It's all yours.
Well, that's basically my story. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. Like I said, you are right. My children are 17 years apart. But I had the decision not to have any more children, and hey, 7 feet, 4 inches tall, handsome looking Jamaican made me change my mind. That's all I could say. And along came Kendra. So 17 years later, I had my baby girl. No regrets at all. And I did Xray and nuclear medicine. Right. I did Xray and nuclear medicine for a long time, more nuclear medicine than Xray. And I decided that I needed to switch careers, for financial reasons, and I just didn't want to work around the radiation anymore. It's a long time to be working around radiation, a long time, almost 20 years. Well, about 20 years, yeah. So I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do nursing since it was a field I already knew. All my degrees, all my life, I had only worked in medicine. So I decided to do nursing school, and I found the school here in Puerto Rico. Everybody said they don't have nursing schools in New Jersey. Yes, they have nursing schools in New Jersey.
But they're cheaper in Puerto Rico, I imagine.
They are a lot cheaper in Puerto Rico, and because my degree is so old, in New Jersey, I would have had to retake a lot of courses that in Puerto Rico I didn't have to do. They took me right in on my degree and my experience. Come see, come saw. That's how I got here.
All right. So you didn't have no problem with the language while you were attending school?
I am still in school. I finished my first year, a little over a year I've been here, and I do not speak a word of Spanish. Well, I can count to 10. I can't do that. And it's frustrating sometimes, but for the most part, no. The program I go to is in English. I live in San Juan, and just about, everything I need to do. I just left the post office 45 minutes ago. Everything is, most of the people here are bilingual.
Yeah, that's true. Because I have a lot of co-workers that are from Puerto Rico living here in Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at taking some master courses from that school, so I know what you're talking about when it comes to saving money. That's the way to go. And they do have a lot of courses in English online, so anybody that they can't afford to pick up their family and move to Puerto Rico, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but you can do it online as well. Right?
Yes, definitely.
All right, good for you, Margaret. Good for you. Now, so you picked up everything. So did both kids go with you? Did a husband go with you?
No, my son. No, I'm a single woman. My son opted not to come, which was fine, you know. And my baby girl, oh yeah, we joined at the hip. So where mommy goes, she goes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
She speaks Spanish now. Now she can speak Spanish.
Good. Yeah, kids pick up things fast. Cause my daughter, she speaks French, and my younger son, he speaks Spanish now because he's studying. That's like his major is Spanish. Yeah, something else, aren't they? Our kids something else. They can adjust.
She's a lot smarter than her mama.
Now pronounce that high school for me.
Weequahic.
Wow,
Weequahic High School.
Wow, I never guessed that.
The older generation is Weequahic. The older generation says Weequahic. Like my mother and back, they say Weequahic. My generation now, they just say Weequahic. You know, our tongues get lazy. So it's now
I would have never guessed that one. Wow, okay, so you educated at Weequahic. So what was your mascot at that school?
Weequahic Indians.
Oh,
orange and brown, Weequahic Indians.
All right, okay. So they can do that, huh? So high schools can get away with that. Okay. I know they've been giving the Washington D.C. a hard time about calling that team the Redskins. I was just wondering, is it going to be a trickle down effect?
Well, it's because the park. We live in the Weequahic section of Newark, and the park is a historical site because of the Indians. So. The name just trickled to Weequahic. And that reminds you, that school is old. I don't know exactly how old Weequahic is. My mother is 72, and my mother graduated from that same high school.
Yeah.
So they didn't just drudge up his name. This is an old name. I'm 42 myself.
Yeah, all right. Good. All right. Well, so we know you're into the health industry. So how has it been for you? So are you working while you out there, or you just a straight up student?
I'm just a straight up student again, other than my book. But actually, I've gotten some job offers. One before I actually got here, a friend of mine knew I was coming, and I got another job offer when I got here. But I just can't. I don't just go to school full time. It's an accelerated program.
Oh, I see.
And so there's no time for that. And with Kendra, she just turned 7. And she was 6 when we got here, and not knowing anyone, babysitting is always an issue. So, no, just a straight-up broke student again.
All right, I understand. So you be there for a year in August. You have your daughter with you, and you made any friends?
I have. It's been good. From the book, I've made a few friends. I found the church home, which I absolutely love. Calvary Chapel of Puerto Rico. I love it. Some say that's the reason the Lord sent me here. I don't know, because I've never felt this comfortable in a church home ever, and I've had a few church homes in my day. But
that's wonderful.
It is. It really is. My daughter loves it. They just finished Vacation Bible School for a week. The best production. I've never seen anything like it. And, raising a son, he always went to Vacation Bible School every year. I've never seen a production like it. They did Spy for Jesus this year, and it was awesome. I took one of my classmates, I took her kids with me to Vacation Bible School. She doesn't drive, so I picked them up and took them back and forth. She emailed me Saturday night. She said, the kids had such a good time. Do you mind if I go to church with you tomorrow? Of course.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Of course. It really was. So I love my new church home. I have a lot of friends from school. The word friend, what's your definition of that at 42? But I met a lot of nice people, at the school, at the college, too. And my college, students are from all over. I have one classmate from Russia, a few from the States. Not too many Black Americans in the program, I have to say that. A lot of people from Africa, a lot of people from Jamaica, Virgin Islands, which is still the U.S. Mm-hmm. The majority of my classmates are not from Puerto Rico.
I believe it. Yeah, I told you them prices, man. You can't beat those prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those credits, man. That's that'll get you. People enroll because of the price. They don't care about the prestige or the brand of the school. They used to be important to people. Yeah, I have to go to Hopkins or Harvard or something. Now it's about who you gonna owe the most money
what
to
after you graduate. Right, when it's over,
can
you pay it back?
Yeah, that's right. You gonna find me a job that's gonna pay off that big fat loan? No. So it's like, because everybody was trying to get with the government when things were going crazy, and they're not going to help you pay it off. You have to be under the program for a certain amount of years and not skip a payment before the government. Right, before the government will help you pay it off. So there's no help there. So hang in there, and I'm happy for you to go back to school and do your thing, because you definitely need them bachelor's degrees to go far. These should just to be considered for an interview with the federal government.
Right.
That's right. And and they have a pretty, and a lot of they do recruit people in the medical field for some of your agencies that use responsible for the insurance programs with the federal government, like Medicare, Social Security, all those different ones like that, to help with the medical records and everything. So
and know the medical lingo, right?
That's right. You can go anywhere. All right. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Now, we're not going to talk too much about the book right now. We're kind of going to hold off on that. But we just want to know what inspired you to write it,
What inspired me? Not talking too much about the book.
Right.
Look, I've been wearing a Caesar for a long time, about 20 years. I don't even remember how long it's been. It's been so long. And people would ask me every day, if I went outside and I saw people, you better believe somebody would ask, what made you cut your hair? Why you cut your hair? And if they were bold enough, they say, oh, you're such a pretty girl. How you cut all your hair off? And it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? If you keep asking me these questions, you're going to have to pay to get the answer. And I said I was going to write a book one day. And even though the term went more than why I cut my hair off, that wasn't my motivation when I sat down. When I actually started writing, different things about myself were revealed, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. When they say writing is therapeutic, it really is. Well, you said you didn't want to talk too much about the book.
Well, go ahead, then. We go ahead, and we'll talk about your book, because we do have some reviews out there that I want to talk about. So I'll tell you what. Okay. All right, so since I did ask you the question, then we're going to go, because I'm looking at your picture of your book, and I noticed that you're sitting in a barber's chair on an old-fashioned checkerboard floor. You can't find those hardly anymore. So tell us, so do you go to a barber where it's all male-dominated, right?
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what you think of the barber shop? No place like a man's barber shop. It's a place where we go to be men, And I bring my son, I go every 2 weeks with my youngest son. I don't get my hair cut at a barbershop, but my oldest son, he actually stopped going also. Because sometimes they just don't, when you wear your hair a little longer, they always seem to cut it shorter than what you want, so I just gave up on them. I can cut a fade myself. So my youngest son, he does go, because he was wearing his hair, really edged up and trimmed, so I couldn't handle that. So tell us about your experience in the barbershop before you get into your book. How's that?
The experience in the barbershop has changed for me. My experience used to be in a barbershop, I was only looking for a haircut. That's all I wanted. And I would go in. That's all. My disclaimer is out there. And I was a lot younger. I was a different woman than I am now. Right. And I would walk out of there with a phone number every time.
Ooh.
And at one point in my life, it was flattering. Shoot. You couldn't just go to the barbershop in a T-shirt and a pair of jeans. You had to be right, because you knew when you went to the barbershop, all eyes were going to be on you. But then things changed. When I realized, this is just getting a little out of hand. This is too much. For me, a barbershop was, I had a little anxiety when it was time to go get a haircut. It didn't stop me. I got my haircut every week. I don't anymore, but I used to go get my haircut every week, every Friday.
You were every week. Wow.
Yes. My haircut was my signature. It had to stay right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a source of a little anxiety, and it's for the same reason, because eyes were all on me. Now you see more and more women rocking a Caesar, or a tiny, they call it a tiny afro or the new term. Now you see more women doing it, but 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you didn't see it too often.
So the Caesar haircut, so let me back up. So the Caesar haircut, are you completely bald or just cut short?
It can be completely bald, but they're called a light Caesar, where you just see a little bit of fuzz. And I wear all of them. I wear light Caesar, I wear dark Caesar, which is a little more hair on your head, and I've worn bald. I haven't been bald in a long time, but I'll go bald too. I even think I talked about the one time I had a bald haircut and who did it and what was the ramifications of it. I actually talk about that in the book, but I'll rock all of them as long as my hair.
I said, I'm looking at your picture. I was trying to pull it up really close. Now, you have a very round, oval-shaped face. Your head is completely round. And a lot of guys kind of envy these shaped faces because you can rock a bald head or a short haircut. Now, when you start, like guys, they have a longer head, more square. We can't really rock the bald head as well. If you're losing your hair, you're in trouble. That's like panic. Panic sets in. But to me, this looks definitely fits you. I can picture you with a nice round afro as well, a really nice one. Any kind of hairstyle. I saw a woman today that was rocking an afro with a wind caught it a little bit. She had to bounce to it. I think she had a little split, split off to the left. Yeah, I said, oh, it really looked good on her. She was thick, nice curve because she was toned. She looked confident. I said, wow, I wonder how it goes for her in the office. She just looks so confident.
You talking about the round. I've had so many barbers want to put those peaks in my head. I don't like peaks. I talk about that in the book, too. I like the round look. I think rounded, not for everybody, but round works for me. And round, I had a boyfriend once. Yeah, but, I wanted a round shape, not the peaks at the edges. And I had a boyfriend
they were trying to do a little temple. You talking about at your temples?
Right, at the temples, right. I mean, it looks fine on some people. I don't want it. I'm not a man. I don't want to be a man. I'm not trying to look like a man. And I think that looks better on men. That's just my personal.
Right. Yeah, you're right. My son, he was rocking it. My younger son, he's wearing his hair a little more like a mohawk now, more almost like a peak. Yeah, I forgot what he called that. Wow, okay. I'm learning something here. So your experience in the barbershop, you said was different.
Right.
When
now it's completely different. Yeah, now it's completely different. Now I'm in Puerto Rico. I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want any type of relationships outside of my platonic friends. When I walk in the barbershop, I don't care what I have on. I'm just going to get a haircut. I tune out the conversation. I've learned how to look through a man. You know how a man give a woman that eye, and you get from back that eye. You know that look. If I see the look, I don't see it. I look right through you. You say something, What? What do you say? I dismiss it.
Now, I got to say, since you were going on Fridays, now let's talk about when you were in Jersey. You said you were going on Fridays, right? It should have been the same guys pretty much, because I know, where we go, it's the same people because they make appointments. And they want to know when they walk in the door, maybe it's going to be a 10, 15-minute wait, but you're going to be in a chair. You don't have to worry about somebody rooting you, or you got to remember who's in front of you or behind you. That's what I hated about the barbershop the most was the barbers never kept up with who was next. It's not like you got a number or you don't know who you're going to. You didn't have no receptionist who would say, okay, you're going to see Mr. So-and-so. This guy had it set up when you came in because he had a salon and a barbershop. So you put your name, you say who you want to see, and they put your name. So then, and then I guess they tell her, hey, you got 3 people. We got to cut the conversation short or whatever, because I think my son started out with a female barber, and she was really good, cleaned her tools really nice. That was so important for us because when he first got his first barber, this guy didn't clean his tools, and he kept getting wingworms all the time.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
And you can't keep giving kids that medication all the time because it messes the kidneys up. So I went shopping around for, a cleaner barber. I was wondering why the guy was always available. Should have put two and two together. Yeah, I know. So that's something that was important to you too right now. So how did you shop your barber? Tell us what was your process like?
Now remember, I also had a son, and even before I cut my hair, I had to take my son to the barbershop. He didn't go every week, but if it wasn't his father, it seemed to usually be me that took him to the barbershop. His father was in his life even after I divorced, but for some reason that was just our time. I just always took him to the barbershop. Yeah. So shopping for a barber was, I did that for my son first. But then it got to the point, okay, now you done had a relationship with this barber. This is now was my turn to get my hair cut. Now I had a relationship with this barber, and then when things go bad, now I can't go to that same barber anymore. So now I have to find a new barber. And it used to be, I just looked for somebody that could cut. They had to have clean tools. They had to have clean capes because I look at the cape too. I'm looking at them to see what they're doing while I'm in there. Right. And, did they follow my instructions? Because all the time I would give instructions about my head, but that's not the way I would walk out of there. And that would decide if I would, go back again. Because once it's cut, what you're going to do, you could complain all you want, but you got to wait for it to grow back.
Right.
So
that was a process right there, shopping for a barber, yeah.
And I talk about that. But you sure you didn't read the book? I talk about that you wouldn't think it would take so much energy to find the right barber to get a good haircut.
It does. So guess who we ended up going with? After going through, he had this one tall guy that was really good that we liked. He was real talkative, but he was funny. He entertained the whole barbershop. And he ended up, he got recruited by a new barbershop that was up, just a little further up in the county. So we lost him. Then I think we went to the female, and then she left. So then the guy felt pretty bad, and because he took everybody by appointments, and he was always off by 30 minutes. So he said, "Okay, I'll take you guys." So he's been seeing the same barber since he has been 3, and he's now 11. Wow. Yeah, but he's still a relatively young guy. He's in his I guess he's in his late 40s. I would say, and so we've been going in. He actually moved to his second location, which is it was just another 10 minutes to get to, 15-minute trip. And then it worked out because my daughter actually goes to dance school right up the street. There's a Home Depot and everything, so it's kind of convenient. Super K-Mart is around there. I can walk across the street and get a large pizza. So sometimes you look for conveniences. Now, what else were you the same way? You kind of say, okay, when I finish, can I pick up my laundry? Can I grab a bite to eat? What was your process?
Now I do, but then I didn't look for convenience. I was all over the place anyway, so it didn't matter. When I moved to South Jersey, now the Weequahic section of Newark is up in North Jersey. When I moved to South Jersey, I couldn't find a barber. I live in a predominantly white area. I actually went to a shop and was like, "Do you know how to cut my hair?" And the lady was she was like, "No." A few barbers told me honestly, "No, I don't know how." I had 1 or 2 barbers that said yes, and I looked like a plucked chicken when I left out of there. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And I used to commute almost 2 hours to come back to East Orange to see this guy, either Gary or Junior. And those are the two, my best barbers, Gary and Junior in East Orange. I would drive 2 hours to come see them, but then that wasn't Friday. I would call Gary and say, "I'm coming up." I would let him know when I left my house, and I had a 2-hour commute. So he'd stay in the shop and wait for me. So by then, it wouldn't be anybody in there, maybe 1 or 2 people in there. They'd be cleaning up. He'd be having his dinner or something like that. But he'd wait.
Oh, that was cool.
Because I had been seeing him a long time. I had been, he had been cutting my hair for years and years at this point.
Okay, so that was cool. So he got a good tip from you and everything, too?
Regular tip. I've always tipped him nice. No matter if I had a 10-minute wait or 2-hour wait, he got the same pay. So I paid for my hair, I paid for my eyebrows, and I paid for my tip. And that is one thing I look for, a barber that can do my eyebrows also, one-stop shopping.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, and that's something that used to irk me too. We used to have this one guy. Normally, if it's not the same people in the lineup, and that's why my wife keeps saying, "Oh, I want you to make this appointment for this day," and I'll be talking with her because if I take him out this lineup, I don't know what the experience is going to be like because he could have somebody in front. Yeah, it could be somebody in front of us that's going to be getting everything, the shave, some people asking their chest they want their chest shaved and stuff.
Oh, no, I don't even want to see that.
Yeah, no, so it's like, okay, you getting everything done, and you're talking about an hour in the chair, so you know they're going to run into your time. So she want me to change his time, but what I do, I keep it the way it is. He just will come a week early, you know. So that's what happens. So I won't change his time. I'll just leave it like it is and see if he can fit me in the time she asked for. Because I like the lineup we have now. They've been really convenient. I like the people that's in there. You know, we all used to each other, you know, especially because when you're talking sports, it can get kind of crazy when they're talking. Now, tell us about the NFL season. Tell us a little bit about what's that been like for you, the NFL season? People crazy.
Well, down here, soccer just finished. That was the biggest.
Yeah.
And they don't even have a team. It was Italy and Costa Rica. But it was huge at the barbershop. I was in the barbershop in the midst of the game, and all I heard was roar. All you heard was like lions roaring. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I'm not a big sports fanatic. I used to be when my son was growing up. You know, we would go Giants, go Giants, go Giants. We watched every game. You know, and then moving to South Jersey, even though it's still New Jersey, for some reason, they were all Eagles fans. I don't know why. They did not know the states were split.
Yeah, they
and South Jersey is all straight Eagles fans. But
Pennsylvania like that, too. They got Philly fans and then Steelers fans.
When my son moved out, I don't know. I don't follow much sports. And I don't have a TV now anyway. It's no TV in my household. We haven't had a television in a few years. We don't do television. We do a few things online, but, you know, I'm raising a little girl, have a different life than I used to have, and some things I don't want to be a part of, and television is mainstream. I should say mainstream television is one of them. I cut out of our lives.
So what's your daughter's name again?
Kendra Nicole.
So when Kendra move out your house and go to college and her roommate has a TV, she going to go crazy. She may not never leave her room. She's like, oh, my God, all this stuff is on TV. She said, we never had it. She's going to go, she's like, I can't believe my mom did this to me. And the TV is smart, too. You can pull the internet up on it, and it tells you what's going on. Because you know the TV is getting smarter. It's going to tell when we're watching football, it's going to give you stats on the guys as you point the cursor to them. So you know, long as you worry about going to your smartphone or your laptop while you're at somebody's house, and just pull the stats for you.
A friend of mine has a smart TV. I've heard about it, but no, my laptop is enough. If I can't stream it on my laptop, I mean, I don't need to be looking at it.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. A friend of mine, we was just talking about women on Saturday, you know, why some women are struggling, and he said, guess what? Because he's like really into high high definition TVs, the surround system, the particular movies that have the quality sound, all that stuff. You name it, he knows about it. So anyway, so he said, yeah, one of the ladies here, you know, approached me and asked me, you know, they heard I knew a lot about TVs and which one he recommended. And I said, dude, that could be a niche market for you because women don't understand the reason why a lot of them don't keep their boyfriends alone a long time is because they don't have no entertainment system in their house.
I don't think that's the reason.
That is the reason. Guys like quality TV. ESPN, NFL Network, you got a nice 40, 50 inch with a sound bar, and you cook too. That guy ain't gonna let nobody come in between you two. I'm telling you, like, men gotta have their own space in that TV. You give them both, that dude's gonna be happy. I'm telling y'all that. That's the secret.
When I go back out on the market, I'll think about that.
Yeah, that's right. You just put a little den together. This little den. Put a TV up on the wall. And I'm gonna tell you, my sister-in-law, she had a guy. Her husband, he loved her to death. She put one down in the basement and gave him a den upstairs. That dude was so happy. He would go home and rush back to work. I mean, he would go to work and rush back home.
Rush back home.
Rush back home. He, you know, I'm telling you, my sister, she don't have nothing set up nice on her first floor, and if she got a TV in the basement, but it's drafty, you catch a cold every time you go down there. And she wondered why I can't keep guys a long time. I said, you don't have no TV.
I got to tell all my single friends, and I got to tell the ones that's married, if you want to keep them, you got to give them a den and a flat screen.
Right. My wife, she don't have no problems out. I mean, she got a big 52-inch with a big whopping sound system in my basement. Then in our bedroom, we got a nice system, and she hooked me up in the den, but my little kids took over that. Got a big 40-inch surround system, all quality, and in the family room, where that's her TV. She got a 52 in there where she sit and chill and listen to her favorite music video. And it's like, you know, I don't even want to go to the movie. It's like, what? She said, want to go to why? It's gonna be out in a month.
Downstairs.
Yeah, I don't like nobody sitting next to me. MF, I really don't. I don't want to get into an armchair battle with them for the armrest. Yeah.
Get off. It's mine.
Yeah, I'll fight you for that, man. That's why I don't like going, you know, and then somebody going to kick my chair in the back.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, stay home.
I never see movies when they first come out. I'll go early Sunday to beat the people who's lazy, you know, to the movie. That's too often why I'm mad. That's right. So that's the secret. I'm telling y'all, you have a nice system.
I'm going to write it down.
That's right. My mom she just found out late. She went and bought a 60-inch TV. My father home more than ever.
Oh, my goodness. What did you say? She found out late.
Yeah, she got him a laptop, too. She got him a laptop with touch screen, and I told her she got to get him some headphones so he can get that stereo sound. You know, laptops don't sound great. You know that. They don't have the great sound quality, so you got to get a nice stereo system. So that's all you got to do, ladies. Just, you know, men love sports.
Take note, ladies. Take note. It's coming from a man.
Right. I'm telling you. I'm a happy camper, boy. I got tablets and iPhones and all kinds of stuff. She don't have no problem with it. She know I'm home. That's right. I go out and say I'm going out. I'll be back home like a half hour. I thought you was going out. Nah, it wasn't no fun. They ain't had no TV. They don't got TVs at the strip joints.
I'm writing it down on a notepad. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But so your book is rocking. You're in the barbershops now. Okay, so all right. Now let's get back to the book now.
Okay.
What now? What inspired you to write was because the fact that people was getting on your nerves, asking about, you know, why you were rocking it so short, right? Now you're in your 40s. You live in Puerto Rico. Now, did you find a barbershop that meets your needs?
Yes. I have a wonderful barber. There's no shenanigans going on. And I just go in, I get my hair cut, and I go out. There's no crazy wait. I don't go Fridays, Saturdays. I don't do weekends. I usually go Tuesday or Wednesday.
That's a good thing.
Maybe one or two people ahead of me, if that. Sometimes I walk in and I can get right in the chair. You know, his cake is clean. You know, I don't smell nothing funny coming off the cake. So I can tell he washes his cake often, he cleans his tools. You know, we have a little conversation. He's bilingual. We have a little, you know, random conversation, and I'll be on my way.
All right. Now let's check out your reviews now. We have somebody gave you 5 stars, and they say, I like the author's style of writing. She brings emotion, many of them quite unexpected in a given situation, like how she reacted regarding her divorce. Oh, you talk about that?
Yes.
Oh, get out of here. How did he feel about that? What does he know?
I don't know if he knows, and I don't know.
That's your baby. That's your baby's father too, right?
No, well, my son's father, my 24-year-old, his father.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So you was married.
But remember, let me put in my disclaimer: the book is fiction. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, it is fiction. Okay. Oh, I thought it was nonfiction since you were sitting on the front of the cover.
It started out that way. It really did. You know, like I said, when I started writing, I was just supposed to be answering this question. And the more I wrote, I started revealing more things. Even though it wasn't my purpose when I sat down, that's what came up. And, you know, and I was like, ugh. I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that, I'm talking about this. I was like, something has to change here.
Yeah, because the guy says here that you did weave in a little bit around the interest in hairstyles, especially your own Caesar cut. What happened in your life since you got the Caesar cut done? He said it was a nice roller coaster which gives you an insight into the narrator's troubling but interesting personality. And he said it's a deadly end. So you the personality was like up and down, kind of trouble?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. In relationship. That's
wow. Get out of here. Okay. All right, let's see what this other person say. Great reading. Thoroughly enjoyed the truthfulness and spontaneous of the book. The book was easy to read, understand, and full of life. Margaret kept it real when telling her story. So you told a great story. So you're a great storyteller?
I didn't know I was until now.
Uh-oh.
This is the first time I wrote a book. It's my first time ever. This is a whole new world for me. From nuclear medicine to author.
I see.
And
how about,
the reviews have been good.
Yeah, see, that's something right here. I said, I'm reading Miss Red. Red said, Margaret's voice still stuck with me after the story ended. Everyone knows how important a woman's hair is, but this story not only showed the importance of a woman getting the right style haircut, but also the important people she came in contact with in her journey to a perfect cut. Yeah, it is important. I mean, just like everything we talked about was pretty much what's in your book, huh? Is that what you were saying earlier? Wow. Because it is, I mean, cause as a parent, I mean, like when you were dealing with your 23-year-old son, how long did it take before, he got to a point where he was pretty, he was particular about his hair, right? How
right.
He wanted to wear it.
He went from from the haircut, and we left barbers before I had a Caesar. He would say, Mommy, I don't want to go back there no more. Wow. They nick him. He'd get a little scab across his forehead or something would happen. So, we went through this process with him. And I remember my son as an adult, he used to live in Pennsylvania with his father. When he graduated high school, he moved in with his father. And I had to meet him up there for something, and me and him both went to the barber shop. I got my hair cut first. So when he got out the chair, he was like, Mom, my friend, the guy was cutting his hair, he was like, he wants your number. He said, Ma, I'm not giving it to him. You can't come back up here anymore. I've had this barber for however long, and I don't want to have to fight my barber. Then he might have been about 18 or 19. So.
and now let me ask you this too, Margaret. Now, you've seen men taste change. Because before, guys used to always say, I don't want no girl with no hair, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like they looking for somebody with, my son, all he talk about, he don't have no problem with if a girl was rocking a short cut like his. He liked the all natural. You got these guys that drinking juice in the morning for breakfast and dinner. They all into women that's all natural now. They want you natural like their food. So is that what you're attracting, a lot of that?
Now I would say yes, but years ago, I had a few men tell me they had never had a relationship with a woman with a short haircut. If a woman didn't have long hair, he didn't even look at her. Wow. And then they say, but for some reason, blah, 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 blah. Now I don't hear that as much now. But then again, I've been single for a year and looking to stay that way for a little while. Not forever, but for a little while. So I don't listen. I don't hear any rhetoric. But
well, I don't know. Once your book get out, you're going to have some people trying to hunt you down. You do look pretty hot in that chair. So I don't know, Mark.
I have had a stalker. Hopefully he's gone and not listening right now. But I have had a stalker, and hopefully after I called the FBI, Xray has disappeared.
Yeah, you're gonna get him. See, so when you do a fiction book next time, you can't be in the book on the book cover. You're supposed to be on the back of the book.
Cover, right. This cover here, when you were talking about the chair, when I found my photographer, Emilio Vega, which I have to give a shout out to him, he found this place. I told him the look I wanted to go for. Even though the book was finished when I was in New Jersey, I didn't publish it until I got here to Puerto Rico. I hadn't shot the cover until I got here to Puerto Rico. It's a bar in San Juan that has this antique chair, and that's their actual floor. And I I remember the photographer wanted to clean up the floor in the picture. I was like, no, don't do anything to it. Leave it just because that looks like a barbershop. It looks like her hair all over the raggedy floor.
And then you have to let your feet. You can't be showing pictures of these guys out here. You can't do that. Look at that shot.
But I like my feet.
The shot was almost like it was mostly about your feet because you looking away at the shot, and like the shot was for your that 1 foot. That's what it looks like.
For the feet, not the haircut.
Oh my God! Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find her on her website. She got a couple of them out here. I can't read them all. Mark, what's your website? I know you're on Amazon. What's the other one? Tell us the website where they can find you.
Okay. My website is www.m-f-kreps.com. And you wanted to talk about Amazon, too?
Yeah. Well, they can find you on Amazon.
Right.
M-f-kreps. That's Kreps. We'll have the link on your player so people can
and it'll take you to Amazon. It'll take you to hardcover and the Kindle. It'll take you to Create Space. And it'll take you to me if you want to leave a message, ask a question, if I give a contest or something like that all of you are there.
That's right. Very, very good. Wow. Exciting. Did a great job, Mark. I'm glad we had you on the show. Is there anything you'd like to say to our listeners before we close out?
I would like to say thank you for listening. I know your time is valuable. I'm glad that you decided to spend it with us tonight. And hopefully you'll go out and pick up a copy of the book. I know you'll love it. I have not heard anything bad yet. I'm not going to say yet. I have not heard anything bad, period. And after you're done reading, send me a message. Let me know what you think about it.
That's right. Y'all don't forget about this. Mark, it's M-f-kreps. My Intimate Journey with Caesar is more than just a haircut. That's our first edition. They can get the Kindle for $2.99. Now, it's a hardback book, a paperback available?
On Amazon or on Create Space.
All right. That's right. Go get it, everybody. Pick it up and have a good time with it. And hopefully, Mark, are you planning to do another book, a second edition?
I am. I am working on it right now. I'm not going to tell too much yet because I'm not sure which direction I'm taking. But I'm definitely I've started writing already.
All right. So we're going to invite you back because we do a Friday night show, and then we like to invite some authors to come back and share some adult conversation if you don't mind, because you probably got some good stories to tell us about the barbershop ventures. So I would love to. I'd be honored. That's right. I'm going to tell Ramon, so we'll add you to the list. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Margaret. Look for her on He Said, She Said, probably coming up in August, so hopefully we'll be able to get her back. I know she's a student. She got a daughter. She's single. She's busy. Thank you so much, Margaret, for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. JRLive Live. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is JRLive at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
All right, that's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. JRLive Live on Positive Power 21.org and Spreaker.com/Positive Power 21. Take care, everybody.